A question that I've been getting from my students lately is, does traditional yoga wisdom offer us a positive vision for the future? The answer is yes, and here's how. At first, you might think the answer is no when you read passages from yoga wisdom texts that describe the material world as a place of misery due to the inevitability of death, and how liberation from the cycle of birth and death is the ultimate goal of yoga. This makes it sound as if yoga wisdom is telling us to give up on the world and just head for the exit. But that's an incomplete understanding, and it's not going to work. For the overwhelming majority of modern yogis, the path to the exit runs through the world, not away from it. And an engaged yogi makes the world a better place for everyone as they run through it. Why is engaged yoga called for if yoga is a spiritual practice? Because we don't practice in a vacuum. Our spiritual progress relies on the support of a spiritual community. We travel along the path of yoga together as a spiritual movement. Spiritual movements take place within political contexts, which means caretakers and proponents of spiritual movements have a duty to respond to surrounding political conditions in a meaningful way. And an essential component of a meaningful response is a positive vision for the future. Yoga wisdom, especially Bhakti yoga wisdom, provides us with a blueprint for that vision. Here are 3 visions of a better world based on principles of Bhakti yoga. 1. A world in which universal values of dharma, truthfulness, compassion, purity, and self-discipline provide common ground for dialogue and a framework for social justice. 2. An inclusive and pluralistic world that emphasizes spiritual unity beyond external designations like race, nationality, gender, or creed, and recognizes that we all have a right to follow different paths in pursuit of the highest truth we can conceive of. 3. A world where spiritual values inform ethics and governance without infringing on individual freedoms or privileging one set of religious beliefs over all others. Bhakti yoga promotes inclusivity and sees governance as ideally informed by universal ethical principles rather than by sectarian religiosity, manufactured fear, or billionaire tech bro cynicism. Bhakti traditions emphasize spontaneous love and service rather than coercion or enforced conformity. And Bhakti philosophy proposes that spirituality is an organic awakening of the heart that can't be imposed through state power. The principles of Bhakti yoga can provide the basis for a powerful alternative vision, one that supports spiritual principles in public life while safeguarding pluralism and rejecting authoritarianism. A positive vision for the future may be hard to imagine when we're still scrambling to figure out how to resist the tectonic negativity of the present. But history tells us that the conviction of resistance leaders has always been sustained by the pursuit of a positive vision, and belief in the possibility of that positive vision is the key factor for building resistance movements. Logic tells us that if we don't have a positive vision to pursue, we'll lock ourselves into survival mode as we fixate on what we're running away from instead of what we want to run toward. The inward turning practices of yoga can provide shelter from the storm, but they can also empower us to lean into the storm. Finding the right balance of taking shelter and taking action is what engaged spirituality is all about. How does the yoga wisdom tradition inform your positive vision for the future? Let me know in the comments.